We are back, okay? Hey guys, it's your girl Victoria back to you with another review. This time reviewing Married at First Sight season 16. We made it! Those couple weeks went by quick. I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna be able to get a couple more weeks, of vacation from Married at First Sight, but no, they come back with a quickness. So, like I said, season 16, episode 1, Marry Me in Tennessee. But ain't nobody marrying tonight. We're going to have to wait till next week just to get through the first wedding. Probably only going to get through 2 weddings next week. So, without further ado, let's get into the couples. Because you already know the first episode is not much to take from it. But I will say one thing before I get into it. I'm so sorry we're already 1 minute in. But I'm just glad it wasn't 3 hours. Because the past seasons, first episode was like 3 hours. So I'm just glad it's 2 hours for this first episode. So thank the Lord Jesus for that. So we're going to start off with first Kirsten. Okay, we started off with Kirsten in this episode, and we're going to end off with Kirsten in this episode. Okay, so she goes to tell her family and friends that she's going to be getting married in 2 weeks, and they're happy for her. Not much to take of her personality for first impressions for me personally. All I can say is she's high maintenance. She has a lot of standards. No, there's nothing wrong with having standards, but at the same time, with her little list that she was talking about, he got to have nice teeth. He got to have an education, which some of them, I'm like, okay, cool. But then when we was going further on down the episode, when she was talking about, he has, got to have a certain penis size, I'm like, okay, now we being too, okay. Okay, so you want everything your way down to the penis size. So to me, I'm just like, okay, you're a little bit of high maintenance, and it's always, granted, she's beautiful, okay, gorgeous. Honestly, my personal opinion, the best looking female on this season. Beautiful, she is gorgeous. But at the same time, like, if I was a guy, I would definitely. I know I'm back. If I was a guy, I would not meet the criteria that she wants for her man. So, therefore, I'm sure she could find it, but I don't understand when you have such high expectations for what you want your dream man to be. Why are you coming on this show? Maybe it's just to, expose herself, put herself out there so then that she can get her dream man after the show. But, previews for next week, it's not promising what homeboy she gonna be with. It's Shaquille, okay? Dillard, I think his last name is. And, he tell his friends that he's getting married in 2 weeks. And they laugh, they looking confused, like, what? You getting married? You sure? And he seemed like a nice, dapper guy, because that's all he said all this episode. Dapper, dapper, dapper. That's his, motto, or, motto, however you say the word. For, that's his personality. That's his persona. And I was like, okay, he's just someone that's probably metrosexual, okay? But y'all people on Twitter, y'all just, I try not to go on Twitter. I really try not to go on Twitter because y'all opinions be too much. It gets into my brain. And then now that I see multiple people saying the same thing, now I can't get it out of my brain. But like I said, first thoughts, I'm like, okay, he's probably a metrosexual, cares about how he looks and stuff because he got to look dapper, like he says. But y'all folks on Twitter, talking about he's, in my own words, fruity tooty with the booty. And I'm just like, why y'all say that? Why y'all say that? Why? And then I'm like, okay, I see one person say, I'm like, okay, okay. But then a lot of people are saying it, so I don't know. I have to see how the season goes with him. But first impressions, I thought he was a nice guy. I thought all these people were nice people for the most part. We're just going to have to see. We're going to move on to Dominique. I don't know what her 25-year-old ass doing on this show, to be honest. Honestly, I think she's only on here because her mom signed her up for the show. Her mom signed her up for the show. Let me repeat that for you. Let that sink in. Red flag. Don't know why the producer, well, not the producers, the experts chose them. But like I said, I know it's the producers who doing it for the drama. But I'm so tired of the same formula. So she's going to be paired up with McKinley. Okay, so I don't remember his age, but he's up there. He's in his 30s. And he's just ready for a wife. Like, he talking about he got so much finances or got enough finances that his wife can choose whether she wants to be a stay-at-home mom or work. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, but when you're gonna be paired up with a 25-year-old who looks forward, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that, okay? But she ain't ready for no marriage, okay? I don't know what she thinks she's doing on here. I don't know why she thinks she's the old soul, but then she explains that she thinks she's the old soul because she hangs out with her mom because, her mom is life. That don't make you no old soul. That just makes you a mommy's girl that your mom's your best friend type of jazz. But ain't no old soul just because you hang out with your mama. Why? Because she older? That don't make no sense to me. But okay, whatever she says, how she feels, but you ain't no old soul. Trust me. Not what I've seen in this episode, just in these little short bits with you in it. Okay. But anywho, she tells her friends that she's getting married, so they're happy for her, and they're just like, oh, he better let you have a girls' night, because if he's not, then I'm going to have to go talk to him. And I'm just like, well, this shows me that you ain't no old soul. This shows me that you ain't ready for no marriage. This shows me that, you have no business being on this damn show at 25, just like Virginia's 26-year-old ass at the time had no business being on the show at the time either. So therefore, this is just probably just to get diversity and to create drama, because that's what the producers are all about, is drama. I like how in the beginning of the season and stuff, or whatever the case may be, Pastor Cal want to be like, out of 16 seasons, we have like 13 successful couples, 11 married at first sight children. First off, okay, 16 seasons. If you think about 11 couples and 16, you may think that's a lot. But we're at the point, the past, I don't know how many seasons, we had 5 couples in each season. So when you think about all the couples that was paired for all 16 seasons combined, 11 is really not that much. 13, I think he said at the time, is really not that much. So I don't know what he's talking about, but okay, we're going to move on. McKinley, he tells his family and friends, or a family friend, that he's getting married in 2 weeks. They're happy for him. And he's talking about he's a quiet introvert. So once again, I don't know why they still doing this formula of opposites attract. This is like everybody's saying is the same formula with Eric and Virginia from season 13, I believe. So, no, season 12, because they was on the Atlanta. Season 12. So I don't know why they thinking this is going to work this time, that opposites attract, but we are all getting tired of the same formula that Married at First Sight loves to do with all their couples. So is this going to work? Probably not, but I guess we're going to have to see how it goes. So then we move on to Nicole. She tells her friends that she's getting married in 2 weeks, and they're in disbelief, and they kind of like, I don't know if I would do that if I were you. She's a sassy Italian. She talks a whole lot of, she's that type of friend that if we go on one-on-one, because, I do more, I'm a one-on-one type of person. If me and her go out to eat, brunch, or whatever the case may be, she's the type of friend that she gonna talk the whole time we out to eat. So it's gonna be good for me because I get to eat my food. She gonna be talking a lot. I get to eat my food while she says everything that she want to say. I might do my little ad-lib saying, oh, really? Wow. That's crazy. That's preposterous. But for her, she just going to keep rattling on, and I'm going to let her because I got to eat my food. And I probably won't hang out with her for another 6 months because, one time with her is all it takes before you're like, I need a break. She already talking about having safe words for her soon-to-be husband, pineapple. Listen. Like I said, that's why I don't go on Twitter, because y'all just kept putting pineapple. Okay, y'all on Twitter, y'all was acting a fool tonight on for Married at First Sight, and I was here for it. But at the same time, it's just like, y'all not wrong, but at the same time, dang, like it's only the first episode. Calm down. But no, she a lot. Nicole's personality is a lot. God bless Quiz, who's gonna be her husband. God bless. Hopefully they have great raging sex. Okay, we're going to move on. Speaking of Quiz, we get to Quiz, and he tells his friends that he's getting married. There's a lot of Chris on not every season, but there's a lot of Chris for the Married at First Sight. Like almost every season, like every other season, there's a Chris on the show. But anywho, he tells his friends a friend that he's getting married, and the friend kind of just seems a little skeptical, a little concerned for him. But it seems like at the end of the day, if that's what Chris wants to do to make himself happy, the friend's all here for it. We then moved on to Eris. I don't know who on Twitter talking about this may be the next Woody. I don't know how they see that. Just because Woody was a so-called player back in the day doesn't mean all the players are gonna be, ready to go. Okay. First off, can we stop comparing people to Amani and Woody? I feel like I said this last season and the season before. Ain't nobody gonna be Amani and Woody other than Amani and Woody. You can't repeat season 11. You can't. Okay. He ain't no Woody. Ain't never gonna be no Woody. I don't see him being close to Woody. So please, let's get this out of our heads. But anyway, he tells his family he's getting married. And they all laugh and they call him picky. He agrees that he's picky. And I'm just like, so why you on the damn show if you picky? Listen, I had a friend told me tonight, she's like, oh, he cute. And I'm just like, for you maybe, but not for me. No. But, he's a recovering player. And I'm just like, oh, red flag. 2, first you picky and you used to be a player, currently player. I don't know what that case is going on right now. Red flag number 2. And then third red flag for me was when the cousin was like, I don't think you should do this. I think you should, I don't think you're ready for this situation. How you going to be in a marriage when it's like you wasn't even good dating, all that stuff. Like, she didn't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing. But if you saying that, then I might agree with you because that's a red flag if you have that concern. But at the same time, from the previews that we're going to see for next week, she's still going to be bringing up this thing. He already chose to do it. Let it go. Okay, you looking like a scorned, bitter woman that you mad that you probably applied and you didn't get chosen and that you mad he getting chosen. Not saying that you don't have valid reasons for him getting chosen, but at the same time, if he already choosing to go through with it, we at the wedding day, just let him do it. Let him get his coins. He probably doing that for those reasons anyway. So just let him get his little $50,000 and maybe bonus if he says yes on decision day. Let's move on, okay? And then we gonna get next to Jasmine. She tells her family that she's getting married and they're excited and happy for her. They want the best for her. She's a beauty pageant. She won all these awards and she became Miss America. And she's, by night, I believe, and then by day, she's a cheerleading coach for the little kids, for the little girls. So that's cute. That's nice. She's athletic and whatnot. So hopefully Aries likes what he sees because, I'm not going to say it. All I'm going to say, he ain't my cup of tea. He ain't my type, and I'm sure I'm not his type either. So it works out for the both of us. We're going to then move on to Gina. She tells her family that she's going to be getting married in 2 weeks, and they're happy for her. She's a salon owner. She got a new brick and mortar opening up soon in 3 months, and I'm like, this process is going to be 2 months. So hopefully you can have it all happen, work out for you, because I can imagine opening up a brick and mortar is a lot of stress, and adding a brand new marriage into it and trying to have quality time to get to know your new husband. I'm sure that's going to play into effect. Maybe that's going to be their conflict for the season. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But, good for her though. Other than that, that she's going to have to juggle all these things at one time. Good for her, doing her thing, making her money. We then move on to Clint's ass. I forgot what his last name is. Weber? Clint Webb, I think. I don't know why he on the show, to be honest with you. Some people was like, oh, because they're older, they're going to be more mature and ready. Yeah, but when they're more older, they're more set in their ways too. So I don't know how this is going to pan out between Gina and Clint. I don't see it working out because Clint just seemed like he just here for play. He seemed like he just here to collect his little check a little bit. For me personally, that's what I think. And, just to have a good time, get some free puss for 2 months. I don't know. Aries too, maybe. Maybe that's why the cousin's so gun-ho about him just not doing this thing. But I don't see it for Clint. He tells his friends he's getting married. They seem happy for him. And they're just like, why you want to do this? Or what? He says he's ready and stuff. Okay, we're going to have to see if he's ready. But from first impressions, I don't get that he's ready. I feel like he's just doing this to see where it goes. If it becomes something, it's like, oh, hey, cool. I got a wife married at first sight and it worked out. But if not, I think you'll still be kind of like, well, it just didn't work out, but it was a nice experience to have. She's beautiful. She had great, a great vagina, and it was great. That's it. So I don't see any sincerity or realness from him as far as really wanting to get married for the right reasons. I just feel like it's an experiment for him, even though this is an experiment technically, but he's just doing this for maybe monetary purposes. But that's just my opinion. That's first impressions. My opinion can change within the next couple weeks. So we're going to have to wait and find out. We then move on to the girls, because that was all the couples. That was all the cast for this season. And we get the girls, they meet up, and nothing really to take from their conversation. But the one thing I wanted to point it out was Dominique, because I guess they asked the question of what do you look forward to getting out of this whole experience in this marriage. Dominique says she looks forward to the girls' night out. So you mean to tell me for your marriage, you look forward already to the girls' night out when you haven't even met the man? What if you have a great, like, I don't understand how in your head you're already thinking like, oh, I'm about to get married, but I can't wait till I be having a girls' night out. Why are you getting married again? Like I said, it really seems to me like you're just doing this for your mom because your mother signed you up and you want to make her proud in all ways, shapes, and forms. So she probably just be bothering you about having grandkids and stuff. So you're just like, okay, let me just do this to get her out of my ear. You know, maybe I'll make a little cute grandbaby. Maybe things will work out so she'll be happy. But at the same time, I'm going to make sure I'm happy too and still going out with my girls. If that's how you really feel, Dominique, don't be on this show. You could have gave it to someone else who probably really wanted to be on this show. Why they want to be on the show, I don't know. But we still watch it because it's entertaining for us, really. But Dominique, you don't need to be on this show. You should have just let them know, like, listen, I went through it with it this far for my mom, but honestly, I don't want to do this. But she says she does. But like I said, I feel like she's just playing for play, just to make her mom happy. Because once again, if she really wanted to do this, I feel like she would have applied herself. So the fact that her mom applied for her, I don't really see it going nowhere. But we're going to see what happens. You know, she's 25, Virginia 2.0. If you want to say somebody 2.0, say that Dominique is 2.0 of Virginia. But okay, we're going to see how that works out. Jasmine saying every time she got baby fever, she got a dog. So now she got 4 dogs. You couldn't just go to... You don't have friends with dogs that you could just went to their house and play with dogs? 4 dogs is a lot of responsibility. 1 dog is a lot of responsibility. Let alone 4 dogs. Do you live by yourself or do you live with family? Because if you live with family, then okay, they can help you out. But if you live by yourself... all the kudos to you. All the kudos to you, because I could not. I'm just saying, but good for her. Like I said, Kristen was talking about she needed a guy to have a big pee because they need to be 6 or 7 inches, which is obviously more than average because average is 5 inches. Okay, Kristen, you should not be on this show either. All y'all at this point should not be on this show. But okay, this is what they chose for this season, so we're just gonna have to roll with the punches. And lastly, from the girls' night, the girls meet up. We have Nicole talking about she hasn't had sex since she's been in Nashville, and I think she said she's been in Nashville for 2 years. I don't see that as much because if we think about what happened in March 2020, a lot of things got delayed and, put on the back burner. So I'm not going to look at it as something, but clearly over on the guys' side, it's something because when we get to the guys' meetup, all the guys look at Chris like he's crazy because he haven't had sex in a year. Once again, do we not? March 2020, that effed up everything for everybody. And I'm sure it effed up things for people sexually as well. So people ain't trying to get no germs and stuff, even more so now than before March 2020. I mean, I would hope. But actually, no, F all that. Screw, erase all the stuff I just said a few seconds ago. Even if it wasn't what happened March 2020 happened. If he hadn't had sex in a year, what's the problem? What's the big deal? I still don't understand why people be looking at that like, that's concerning. That's interesting. You don't have to have sex with everybody that you see walking by with legs for guys' purposes. Or anyone who likes to have sex with girls' purposes. It don't matter. Like, what's the big whoop? Because he don't want to be putting his peen in everything that walks by. Aries, if anything, I'm looking at you and Clint with a side eye because y'all signed up for this process and you talking about you had sex the day before you found out you're going to get married in 2 weeks. So, if anything, I'm looking at you more like side eye, like, oh, okay, so even though you was potentially about to be married, you still effing out in these streets. Hopefully not raw. And Clint, you too, because he said he was about the same 2 weeks ago. Okay, all right. But we're gonna look at Chris because he wants to withhold his penis from inserting in random chicks' punani. Me personally, I don't see a problem with that. If anything, I look at a problem with you trying to be married at first sight, but yet want to still F these hoes out in these streets. Not calling them hoes, but at the same time, I mean, the way y'all be acting on this episode, to be messing with you, maybe they just needed an itch scratch too. But for me, it ain't working out. Anywho, I'm gonna move on. So because they were talking about sex and whatnot, they toast to having sex with their brides. Well, more so, Clint saying toast to having sex with our brides. Yes, Clint, you're giving me major F boy energy, major F boy energy. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. If your wife, is down with the get down, then that's one thing. But yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it at all. We get to Kristen. She goes dress shopping, and she goes through four. Well, from what we see, she goes through four dresses, and of course, the fourth one is the dress that she chose. I feel like she's so beautiful. Anything she wears looks good on her. But me personally, I just like the third dress she tried on the best for her. But she liked the fourth one, so she knows herself better than I do. So kudos to her. We get to Shaquille. So he goes suit tuck shopping, and the suit he goes with, I'm not a fan of. I'm like, I don't. It was supposed to be like a forest green tux. I didn't see no green in there whatsoever. Maybe if I looked hard enough, I could kind of see a hint of a forest green. I didn't like it. It looked like a faded gray green, I guess you can say, but I didn't like it whatsoever. I don't know why they be choosing the word. Okay. We're gonna move on. We get to the Bachelorette Party, and Nicole and Dominique are the wild ones. We have Nicole doing body shots on the stripper, and we got Dominique, putting a shot in between her breasts and having one of the stripper, take it out of her breasts with his mouth, and they talking and flirting. So she was having a good old jolly time, and I'm just like, you're old so though. I'm gonna keep bringing that up because you said it. You're old so. And you ready for marriage. I mean, you can still have a good time. I know their excuse is it's their last night single, but I'm just like, yeah, no. No. Because it looked like, had you not been on camera, Dominique might have went to the back and did a little something with a stripper. I'm not saying she would do that, but I'm saying in my mind, I think she would. The way she was flirting with homeboy and, inebriated. Who's to say what she would have done if cameras weren't rolling? I'm sorry. That's my mind. That's my opinion. So we're going to move on. Then to Nicole lastly talking with, I guess, her friends. And she's saying she's nervous about making a marriage work. Well, let me tell you, if you're nervous about making a marriage work, you don't need to be on the show. You need to be off the show. Like I said, all y'all don't even need to be on the show, really. To be honest, none of y'all need to be on the show, but that's who y'all the chosen ones. If you're nervous about making a marriage work, Nicole, you need to ask yourself, why are you here? You still have time to leave, but you're not going to leave. Probably because you already signed the contractual agreement. We then move on to the guys' bachelor party, not bachelorette party. Yeah, the girls one seemed way more lit than the guys. The guys seemed kind of lame, but it looks like they had a good time. Clint was the wild one. And then he asked at the end if everyone was okay with sticking with one vagina. So do you not want to be in a monogamous relationship? Because if you don't, why are you on the show? Unless if you're going to try to convince her to be polyamorous, or if that's the word, I hope I said it right. You don't need to be on the show. If you asking those type of questions. I don't know if the producers told you to ask the question, Clint, but the way you've been acting all episode, and I said you giving me F-boy energy, I feel like this is a question you thought up in your head just to converse with the fellas. And for me, I'm just like, Clint, you don't need to be on this show. You really don't need to be on the show. You don't need to be on the show. Anyway, after that, we get to the wedding day, and I'm just like, we only seen one couple go wedding attire shopping. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. So we're not going to get no wedding. We're not going to get no wedding. And, Kristen and Shaquille are first, of course. We would assume that because they're the only ones that went wedding shopping. So they're getting ready. Kristen's trying to call her mom. She went MIA, but she did show up towards the end of the episode. And her dad's not gonna be there because he didn't want to get no March 2020 test. If you know, you know. He didn't want to get no March 2020 test, so he ain't gonna be there because he don't want his he doesn't want to get penetrated in his nose. Pretty much. So then they start talking when they doing their makeup and getting ready. They start talking about how he gonna look like and what she wants. She wants a guy with a low cut and a nice beard and whatnot. I think she said nice beard, a nice beard. And they ask, what if he's bald headed? And she's like, she don't want no bald headed husband. I'm like, well, you can leave right now because once again, I don't understand. You talking about you're gonna be disappointed if you don't get your dream man, but you letting other people choose your dream man for you. Make it make sense. Kirsten, make it make sense for me. Because if you have such a high expectation of what you want your man to look like and know you're going to be disappointed if you don't get that high expectation, you probably shouldn't put it in other people's hands to choose the man for you. Just a thought. And she already told the girls if she ain't feeling him, she going to make him kiss her on the cheek. And then we seen a preview of the next episode of him kissing her on the cheek. And there it is. We were going to see that thing. Because I already had that feeling. I'm like, he's probably going to be amazed with her. Going to think she's like the best thing since sliced bread. She's not going to be attracted by him whatsoever. And it's just going to be like a Jasmine and Michael situation from like two seasons ago. So it's like I said, same formula, different people. So then after that, we have Shaquille, he crying with the fellas in his dressing room because I guess now he's getting overwhelmed as time is getting closer. So he's just thinking like this is what he wanted so bad. Kind of like when Chris, was it Chris? I think his name was Chris. What's his name, Chris? The one from Houston. I think his name was Chris. If it wasn't Chris, hopefully it comes up. But I feel like it was Chris. Anywho, from the Houston season with Michaela. Whatever his name was. I'll get it in a moment. When he cried the day of the wedding because he was so overwhelmed because that's all he wanted his whole life. So this is what Shaquille doing. He crying too. So everybody was like, oh, it's going to be okay. Get through the emotions, brother. I'm just like, when we already know it ain't going to be no wedding. Let's just get to the end of the episode. For me, I'm just like, let's wrap this up, guys. Can we wrap this up, please? Can we wrap this up? It's time to go. So he crying and then, he put himself together and gets out there about to walk down the aisle. Then he sees his grandma and he starts crying again. And I'm just like, okay. Cry it out. Sure, that's fine. But time's a ticking. We got a couple minutes left, bro. You better walk down the aisle. Because that's all we're going to see for the remainder of the episode. So, she tells him that she's proud of him and whatnot. And then he walks down the aisle. And Kirsten's guests seem happy with, what the results are of her husband. And then we see Kirsten about to walk down the aisle. And she's nervous, of course. And that's where the episode ends. And we're going to have to wait next week to see the first wedding of Married at First Sight, even though the first episode of this season was 2 hours. Once again, same formula, different season. But if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And please comment, let you know your thoughts on the cast so far this season, just from this first episode. And other than that, be easy breezy lemon squeezy. I'll see you guys next week for episode 2.